Excuse me 1 second. I just want to interject for one moment. I see one of our city councilman representatives is here. He had something that I know he had somewhere to go. So I'd like to let him have a say as well, and then we'll come back and redress the issue. Okay?
Thank you very
All right.
much.
Because I want to try to get everybody in so we all can have something to say. Scott, please.
Okay.
I saw you had your hand up, and I know I wanted to hear what you had to say.
I could probably, my name is Scott Reddin, I've been representing the 3rd Ward for 7 years. I am also a candidate for mayor, I should make that clear. I could probably address each and every one of those issues that have been brought up, but I wanted to directly address what you said about, no, I was going to say Ms. Matos. You're not related to Dino Matos McGreevy, are you? The former governor's wife, ex-wife.
N.O. on record.
There's a piece of good news and then not some, even I hate to burst your bubble, but it's even worse news. The good news is that because it's April 15th, all the funding that they have, all the programs, and again, I'm the council, but I'm very closely involved with the schools. And the good news is that this funding will keep all the core programs and pretty much every program through the end of the year. You're going to have to worry about that in September. So maybe there's some hope that between now and September. So I've been told by the Board of Education members as well as the superintendent of schools that especially all core programs, I mean absolutely all core programs, but probably even some of the ones that might originally be thought of being cut. The really bad news is that if you did see in the paper, it's $2 million this year. So they were supposed to receive $2 million, and I think it's disgusting what was done at the state level because, as you said, if you said, listen, we have a problem, you've seen this before, we may not be able to make our budget. There's some problems up ahead. 6 months from now, there might be some layoffs. We're letting you know this in advance. They sent a letter saying that this is what we're giving you. You don't pull back. You don't promise something and then pull back. In other words, just don't make that promise in the first place. That's why I'm a little bit upset about that. But there's $4 million. And all $4 million next year from the state is is in possible jeopardy. Okay, so now you have $2 million.
They told us zero.
Zero.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
They told us zero.
Right, as of this point.
As of this point, they're not even giving us the
Right,
$4
so you
million
had
for
$4
next year.
million. You had $4 million. That's a loss of $4 million.
So it's $6 million total because
Right.
they sent us a $2 million check and basically
Right.
told us to go whistle for the rest of the money.
Yes, right. And out of a $66 million budget, $4 million is a large percentage. I mean, it can be done, but if you want, the teachers are looking for their contract. I mean, something's going to have to give.
Well, are the
They've
local
been
representatives sort of pressing for a clearer explanation as to why these funds were cut? I mean, how did they come to the determination that Englewood funds had to be cut? You know what I mean? I mean, what was this formula for that?
I mean, I've heard different things out there.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
please share with us, because I mean, I have no idea. I'm sort of learning, but I'm curious because, I haven't been. I can't imagine how this one community would get this huge a cut versus less cuts across the board and around the state. So that doesn't seem to be fair.
I really can't answer. They have to come up with they have several billion dollar deficit.
Mhm.
So I guess they thought that this money was started sort of when the academies came around, and so it had good intentions. It was as you said, when Derek and I we actually graduated together, class of '75, and it was. I grew up in Englewood Cliffs, and we went from Englewood Cliffs, and we went to the public schools, and now it's 97% Black and Hispanic. So what happened? What's going on there? So listen, why would you not want everybody from the community to come? The academies is a good example. It's 25%. 2 years ago is exact 2 years, not now, but 2 years ago is exactly 25% Asian, 25% Hispanic, 25% African American, 25% white. It was exactly. It wasn't by design, by the way. It wasn't. They didn't pick people. It happened to be that way. And so I think it was a good concept. It was a good idea to have it. And when it first started, as you know, there were many problems because there was talk about segregation. They did the very bad job. And I'm not blaming anybody in particular, but they were told not even to talk. I don't know if you heard about it. They were told not even to talk
Our
to each
children
other.
were spat upon.
So I think they've done a much better job. I mean, they used to have 2 proms, 2 graduations, and now, listen, so they've come together, and the idea, why not try to get people? And even people from all across the town, even the Orthodox community, why not try to get people? Why not get people from Englewood Cliffs? Tell me a town, now it's only 50 kids, but my hometown, Englewood Cliffs, tell me a town in the entire United States where 0% of the people go to the public schools. I don't think it's possible.
Then we have to
You know.
regionalize.
That's a possibility,
If
although
there's no money,
I
then
don't think you'll
regionalize.
ever, I don't think you'll ever see Tenafly go along with regionalization. Englewood Cliffs, see, the Englewood Cliffs fought about, as a matter
Well,
of
then
fact,
they
when
have to help us get our money.
I was on the school board.
Regionalization has been brought up if they're reintroducing it to,
Well-
because of this recession.
You know what somebody said? Somebody said the way to do certain things, for example, shared services or cutting towns, you got to mandate it. In other words, you can talk about regionalization, you can ask the towns to do it, but in certain circumstances, you might have to just you might have to pass legislation to
It's
force
been
people to
put
do
on
it
the
because
table.
That's at the
sometimes...
state level?
Yes, so what I'm saying is they talked about regionalizing, or I don't know if you've heard about these, there's these towns with donuts, they call them donut holes. So there's a town that surrounds another town, yeah, there's 2 separate entities. So they're talking about why not have these 2 towns come together, and well, there are a lot of reasons. A lot of people love home rule. There's 566 municipalities, there's over 700 school districts. You would think they might want to consolidate. Okay, but even those towns that are within other towns, Princeton Township, things like that, they're fighting against this. If you have 2 police chiefs and you say, let's have 1 police chief, well, who's the police chief that's going to go? Who wants to be the one to say, you know what, I've been waiting 30 years to be police chief, and now all of a sudden you're going to take away. So it might be that if you might have to mandate it, because there have been lawsuits, as you remember, 20, 25 years ago, there were lawsuits. Englewood Cliffs did sue Englewood, and Tenafly would probably do the same thing. That would